to the regular meeting of Bedford City Council. If you would please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hardy?
Here.
Smith?
Here.
Saunders?
Here.
Spinks? Here. Janudis?
Here.
Oh, Kochi?
Here.
That's a switch. Don't forget him.
Council, can I have a motion to excuse Councilman Ashbury for tonight by Smith, second by Saunders. Call the roll, please.
Hardy?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Saunders?
Yes.
Spinks?
Yes.
Janudis?
Yes.
Kochi?
Yes. Council, you have the minutes of the work session of January 17th, 2023. Any corrections? Seeing none, can I have a motion for acceptance by Spinks, second by Janudis? Call the roll, please.
Hardy?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Saunders?
Yes.
Kochi?
Yes.
Spinks?
Yes.
Janudis?
Yes.
And you have the minutes of the regular meeting of January 17th, 2023. Any corrections to that? Seeing none, a motion for acceptance by Saunders, second by Smith. Call the roll, please.
Okay. Hardy?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Saunders?
Yes.
Kochi?
Yes.
Spinks?
Yes.
Janudis?
Yes.
With these electronic stuff up here now, sometimes we have to slow down a little bit for the machines to catch up. Council, you'll have the work session minutes of February 6th, 2023. Any corrections to that? Seeing none, a motion for acceptance by Hardy, second by Janudis. Call the roll, please.
Hardy?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Saunders?
Yes.
Spinks?
Abstain.
Janudis?
Yes.
Kochi?
Okay. That's okay. Yes. And you have the minutes of the regular meeting of February 6th, 2023. Any corrections to that one? Seeing none, motion for acceptance by Smith, second by Saunders. Call the roll, please.
Hardy?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Saunders?
Yes.
Spinks?
Abstain.
Kochi?
Yes.
Janudis?
Yes.
All right. Get all those minutes out of the way. Now we can get down to the good stuff. First, we get to do a swearing in of a new police sergeant. And these are some of my favorite things to do when we do promotions and add new people to the departments. And so if I could ask David, if you would come forward, please. Over here, and then, so you can be on the camera, you know.
I know, I was told I was being
You
watched.
said you're good. So repeat after me. I
I, David Kemsky,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Ohio
and the Constitution of the State of Ohio
and the Charter and laws
and the Charter and laws
of the City of Bedford, Ohio,
of the City of Bedford, Ohio,
and faithfully, honestly,
honestly,
and impartially
and impartially
discharge the duties of the position of Sergeant
and discharge the duties of the position of Sergeant
of the City of Bedford, Ohio.
of the City of Bedford, Ohio.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. up. It adds excitement to the department too. People get in and they start studying for these positions. And as you move up, some new guy's gonna get a chance to move into your spot. It's always good and strengthens the department. And we got a great department. And Chief, if you wanna take over here.
I just want to welcome everybody here and thank you for coming for this fine occasion. And congratulations to Dave. Sergeant Kemsky, I'm sure will do well in his position. I have the utmost confidence that he will. And it's a great addition to our staff. Unfortunately, we had to have one of our current sergeants retire earlier than expected. But with every door closes, another door opens. So congratulations again, Dave.
Thank you.
I know you do well. And if you'd like to introduce your family and your two little helpers to put your badge on.
Yeah, my son Dylan and Landon are gonna help put the badge on.
I want to do that first.
Now's your chance. Ouch.
We practiced.
Oh, okay. Mom's a nurse.
There you go. And more.
How's the practice work out for you?
There we go.
Good job, guys.
Thanks, guys. So my parents are here, my wife's here, and my father-in-law and his girlfriend are here. First, I'd like to thank my wife. She's totally supportive, doesn't get enough support for working nights for the past 8 years, and who knows how many more to come. My parents, obviously, if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be here. The way that they raised me. And I'd like to thank Chief Stemple. He's done a lot for me in my career here. 8 years, well, 8.5 years ago I came here, and wouldn't change it for the world. Thank you to council and City Manager Malice. This hasn't been an easy 3 years for us in our profession. So the support of council and City Manager means a lot to us.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, that's the photo op.
Thank you.
Good.
Take care, guys. Have a nice night.
And we'll recess in a little bit so you guys can move on, but I'd appreciate it if you stay for just a minute because we got another special proclamation here for young man Joshua Armstrong, who became an Eagle Scout. And that's a huge, huge thing to get to be. And how you doing?
Doing good. How about you?
And it's good to see, because so many guys that earn their Eagle Scout, they go on in their careers and everything to become corporate leaders and military leaders, and it's just a great thing that you guys do and for the community. And I just want to say congratulations, and then well, let's read this thing here, and then everybody will know what it's about. Whereas Joshua Armstrong has now attained the rank of Eagle in the Boy Scouts of America, and whereas the Boy Scouts of America was founded on February 9, 1910, and has grown to be a vital force in the development of our youth and its many programs, which encourage the ability of its members to do things for themselves and others. And whereas Joshua started Cub Scouts with Bedford Pack 699 and achieved the Arrow of Light before crossing over to Boy Scouts on October 19, 2015. And whereas Joshua was a member of Troop 177 in Alliance, Ohio from 2015 to 2017 before deciding it was time to come back to Bedford Troop 399. Whereas Joshua, while with Troop 177, he attended summer camp at Seven Ranges Scout Reservation, where he earned the first 3 years of Pipestone, a Camp Honor Award. At summer camp at Beaumont Scout Reservation, he was elected to the Order of the Arrow in 2019, an honor organization within the Scouts. And whereas Joshua has been active in Troop 399 and held several leadership positions, including senior patrol leader. He has participated in several community service opportunities, including various Bedford festivals and a special flag ceremony for 9/11. And whereas Joshua's Eagle Scout project was building a gated fence around the AC unit at Bible Baptist Church to prepare the area for when the church purchases a new AC unit. He completed his Eagle Board of Review on December 20th, 2022, and was awarded the rank of Eagle Scout. Now therefore, I, Stan Cochee, Mayor of the City of Bedford, extend congratulations to Joshua Armstrong on attaining Eagle Scout in the Boy Scouts of America. In witness thereof, I do hereby set my hand and cause the seal of the City of Bedford to be affixed this 21st day of February 2023. Congratulations. Would you like to say anything or introduce your family or your friends here?
So I have the majority of my troop here. We got Alex over there, Daniel, Vincent, Mr. Jeff, Miss Carla, Mr. Rob, who works for the city, Mr. Dan, my dad, Frank Armstrong, my sister Jolynn, and my mother Sherry Armstrong. And then we have Malcolm and Ryan as well.
Did we have any other Eagle Scouts here?
Vincent.
Vincent? Oh, excellent, good. And again, just congratulations, and I want to let you grow and continue on in all your endeavors. And you got like a million badges. Congratulations to you. If you guys want to be excused. You want to hang around?
Thank you.
Good to see you guys. Thanks for being here. Thank you.
It's great to see kids still in scouting. It's really wonderful.
Yeah, and this time, I want to ask another presentation. I've asked the school superintendent that we'd set aside time each meeting if they had something they want to come up and say and get some positive feedback from the schools. I think it's important that the schools show up at our meetings, and the people that have kids at school are in touch with what's going on at the school and what the kids are doing and all that. But I just felt that by offering the podium to school, they could reach a wider audience and let more of our citizens know what's happening at the high school or what might be coming down. And so tonight we have Mr. Sam Botters, and you'll have to give your title because it's
really long.
Please come forward.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Mayor. Thank you so much, City Manager Malice. My name is Samuel Walters. I am the Executive Director of Human Capital Equity and Inclusion, on title for over HR for Bedford City School District. A little bit about myself and Bedford City School District. Previously, I served as the building principal at the high school for nearly 10 years, and I've been promoted to Executive Director of HR with the Bedford City School District. Monthly, we hold our mayor's meetings along with our clergy meetings, and so thank you for this opportunity as well. Our superintendent's at another council meeting tonight, so she did ask me to fill in. But just a couple quick things of what we're doing with the school district. One of the main things that we're doing, we will be putting a ballot on the, in November for facilities. And one of the great things about this ballot, I believe, as a former resident, I live City Manager Malice's neighborhood now, but I did live in Oakwood and I graduated from Bedford High School. But we haven't had a ballot on the agenda for a little bit over 10 years now. Never had a bond. And so we have been always financially fiscal, and that's a great thing. Another thing, we're looking at our facilities, building new buildings. We do have several buildings that we do need to improve. And so we've had several monthly facilities meetings. So we have a lot of great things. Academically, our high school, we're still moving forward trajectory with our graduation rate. We have our one plan that's connected to the ODE's connected one plan, and so we're really moving in the right direction. So a lot of great things going in Bedford High School, and I really appreciate Mayor Cochey's support, and the City of Bedford's support with our schools.
I just want to make a remark that, and I was with Superintendent Johnson at the Rotary Club this morning with Jennifer was there, and I want to say the Rotary Club every once a week or whatever, they invite the students from the high school to attend, and I get a chance to meet all these different kids, and other functions I get to meet kids up there, and there are some great kids up that high school. And I don't think it gets said often enough that they do things. They said, you know, even when I went to school there, we had our knuckleheads that did stuff, people, and it's still that way, it'll always be that way. But the bulk of the kids there want a good education, are doing a good education, and achieving, and these 4 kids, when they were telling me what they do, and all the activities there, and it wore me out just listening to all the things they do. So these are good kids, and that needs to be brought out more often, I think.
Mayor, we have several different buckets, if you will, of students and what capacity they're served in. So we have some students who are in the trajectory or the bucket of going into education. So we have future educators of tomorrow, and they're taking classes specifically to groom them to be teachers. I don't have the specific numbers, but a majority percentage of our teachers, classified and certified, have graduated from Bedford High School, who are serving and who are employees as teachers, or security officers, custodians, secretaries. We have a lot of people who graduated from Bedford High School coming back to serve in that capacity. Another area that Mayor was talking about, we have students who are in the fine arts program, students who are in our CTE program, and then students who say, hey, I just come to school every day. I'm not a bad kid, but I make B's and C's, and here's what I'm doing. One of the things that we are doing, which I think is really kind of awesome, we're currently in a consortium. Bedford, Shaker Heights, Cleveland Heights, Warrensville, and Maple. And we shared the construction, cosmetology, other career technical education programs. Well, what Bedford City School District is doing, along with under Dr. Johnson's leadership, we're going to have our own CTE, where our kids will not have to travel to Cleveland Heights, Shaker Heights, Warrensville, Maple. We will have those CTE or career technical education programs right here in our school, in our district. Our kids will not have to travel, an hour away on a bus from here to Cleveland Heights. It's going to take you an hour, going down Warrensville Road. But we will have those CTE programs right here, back in our high school and middle school for our kids. Being a product of Bedford City School District, I went to Carewood, Heskett, and middle school, and Bedford High School. And I remember taking wood shop in the middle school. I took college prep classes at the high school, but I remember we had our CTE hallway. And in that hall, we had home economics, auto mechanics. In fact, we had 2 auto mechanics. We had, and we still do have auto tech. We had auto mechanics and body shopping. We also had drafting and engineering. We had cosmetology, where you cut hair, did massages. And we had the home ec, where you learn how to sew, cook, learn how to, I can't sew now, but back then I did. But here's my point. all those programs that we had, we began to outsource those things, and we share them with our surrounding districts. And there's nothing wrong with it. We're not disrespecting or downgrading our other colleagues in our surrounding districts. But Bedford is unique. We are a trendsetter. Bedford is unique that we are a leader. And so we're bringing those CTE programs back to our school, back to our district. And we want to attract those students, those parents, those community members into our schools, just because that's what we did when we went to Bedford, when we graduated from Bedford. So a lot of those CTE programs, construction, wood shop, auto tech, body tech, things like that, we will have at the high school moving forward.
Excellent.
All right, thank you so much.
Hey, thanks for coming. We have no old business. Before we get into our reports, I just want to say happy birthday to Council Lady Spinks. I won't tell you the like old age she just attained, but
I'm not ashamed, I'm not embarrassed, I'm proud to make it that long.
I'm 60 today.
and today is her anniversary.
Happy birthday to Sandy. Happy birthday to you. Was that so bad?
No one did. Thank you, you're awesome.
All right. Mr. City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor. A couple items real quickly. First, just wanted to congratulate Sergeant Kemsky as well as Eagle Scout Armstrong. Very much deserved both of those recognitions. Just also wanted to touch on yesterday. We want to obviously commend all of the first responders, our fire department, and send all of our thoughts to all of the individuals involved in yesterday's incident in Oakwood Village. Obviously a tragic accident, and our staff right there to help, both PD and fire, as well as many others. But that's what they're trained to do. And all of those classes and all of the training they go through, it shows in situations like that. So just wanted to commend, Bedford Fire as well as all of the others. Speaking of the fire department, we did complete a grant application, a $1 million grant application through FEMA for the replacement of our ladder truck. You got to start these projects now. Right now, a ladder truck is probably 3.5 years out if we ordered that today. Our ladder truck is a 1992. These are north of 1.5, probably closer to $1.8 million. But we're starting that process, and we did submit that application. The $1 million request was the max that we could. Obviously, if we could go for it all, we would, but we did go for the max. Also, there was a recent announcement. The Board of Elections, if you recall last year, typically one of the locations is at the Ellenwood Center for voting. Last year, during the summer election, the special election, it did not, Ellenwood was not a location. And that was a decision agreed to by the Board of Elections as well as the City of Bedford, just because of the amount of activity taking place at Ellenwood during the summers with all of the children, all of the camps. And obviously, when you throw in voting, there's a lot of traffic, and it just made sense to not have that at Ellenwood. That is coming back. It's coming back this year. So Ellenwood will be a location. So please check, for those voting in person, check the Board of Elections and all of that if your precincts are to report there. None of the others will change. Also wanted to touch on, we talk about Sergeant Kemsky, and I know Mayor mentioned it as well as the Chief, but I have to commend our entire department, especially our detective unit. Over the last few weeks, we've had some unfortunate incidents. that, you know, their expertise, the leadership over in that department, working with them day in and day out, we were able to make an arrest for a suspect that was traced to Georgia. And our staff was able to, obviously with the assistance of a number of different agencies, we're able to identify that individual and apprehend that individual. Secondly, I wanted to touch on and wanted to thank City Council for supporting our initiative of installing flat cameras. A few meetings ago, actually it might have been a little longer, it might have been earlier in January, the City Council authorized the administration to install 16 flat cameras, north of $40,000. We installed these for, obviously, for investigations. These cameras are at the entrances of town in various locations, and they're license plate reading cameras. Last week, there was an incident in Maple Heights involving a shooting. Our detectives and our officers, we worked through the newly installed flat camera that is at the corner of Cherney and Lee. We were able to identify that vehicle through that newly installed camera, which is now operational, and provide that information to Maple Heights, and they were able to make an arrest. So, you know, I think it was within 1 week of those cameras being up and running that they've already, you know, proved valuable. So, appreciate City Council's support on that initiative, that expenditure. And then, again, that's just another tool, another resource that we could use to obviously address unfortunate situations. But, you know, hats off to both our fire department and our police department. It's been a busy beginning of the year, but you know, they're handling it in stride, and they're just doing a great job. End of report.
Thank you. Mr. Law Director. Just briefly, obviously, congratulations to Sergeant Kempsky and Eagle Scout Armstrong, and I would urge you to support the schools levy this November. I think it'd be much needed, I think, and appreciated. End of report.
Thank you. Thank you. Finance Director.
I also wanted to congratulate Dave Kemsky's promotion to sergeant, and to congratulate also Joshua Armstrong for his Eagle Scout designation. I just wanted to make sure everyone was aware that the Civil Service Board or Commission is advertising for a police officer because of this now new opening that from Kemsky's promotion, and that the application deadline is March 3rd. So if you know of anyone that's been working in police work for at least 2 years, they can go ahead and apply before that date. And that's end of the report. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Fluharty.
Thank you, Dave. I want to congratulate David Kemsky too, Sergeant Kemsky. And also Mike, group homes over there on Pinecrest are flying down the street again. When they came in there, I'm getting some calls from them about that. Pinecrest?
The one home that we're familiar with?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you may need to stop over there and tell them to have their people, when they get off work, they're happy to be off work, don't just fly through the neighborhood. I guess that's all I got in the report.
Thank you. Mr. Smith.
First, I would like to say welcome to everyone. Welcome, Mr. Walters, Huey's. Congratulations to David Kemsky, Eagle Scout Armstrong. Mike touched on the cameras that we currently installed. And as you can see, they are really helping us in our city. As he said, within a week of those being up, because I didn't notice him. When I noticed him, then this incident happened, and right away, Maple Heights was able to make an arrest. So Once again, the cameras are working. Some people thought in the city that we were doing this to track them or, the traffic cameras or whatever, but no, they're doing their job. Also, I'd like to mention that the ward meetings will begin this spring. I'm looking forward to that. I'd like to, for all of those people that I have not met, I will give you a chance to meet them. They can meet me and see who I am in the report.
Thank you. Mr. Saunders?
Yes, first I want to thank the schools for bringing back the programs that were there back when I was a kid. The schools used to do quite a bit of that. Not everybody is bound for college. And this way they are getting a training, which, by the way, people don't realize it. You can make one heck of a good living in some of these programs. And you don't have to necessarily go to college, especially if you can't afford it these days. And that's becoming, you begin to wonder whether it's becoming a rich man's goal anyway, because the prices of those have outstripped the inflation rate for so many years. But it's good to see that the school system is preparing our youth for a possible alternative rather than going to college. And that's always a good thing, because let's face it, we still need people to fill those vacancies that people are retiring from too. So the baby boomers are all retiring. Some of us can't retire because there's nobody to replace you. So let's hope that the schools continue in that direction. The same thing with the facilities. I know the state's pushed for the newer facilities because of new classroom requirements and all that. I've been involved with the planning committee since the day one almost, which is good, which, by the way, we have another meeting Thursday at Columbus Road School. But I hope the people will actually support the new buildings. The school system hasn't had a levy in many, many, many years. The school system financially is sound. It's probably one of the soundest school systems in the entire Northeast Ohio area. So let's show our support by supporting it in November, and we can continue working forward like the school system deserves. I also want to thank our new sergeant in the police department. I'm sure he will do a good job. Hopefully we'll be able to fill his vacancy. Filling police vacancies these days is very tough, as you can tell in a lot of communities that are all short-staffed because of it. Our Eagle Scout, I'm glad to see the youth are still involved in activities of that nature. It's very tough to get to be an Eagle Scout. I know, my boys have tried it. My oldest almost made it. He got timed out by age. But I've been involved in the Scouts for quite a number of years, including Troop 699, when they got their trailer stolen and they lost all their camping supplies. I emptied my house and gave them all to them so that they at least had stuff in the interim to be able to use. So I didn't need it anymore. My boys are all grown. So Scouts is one heck of a way to learn how to survive on your own, to make it in this world, whether it's roughing it or whether it's just in everyday life. And as was mentioned by the mayor, most Eagle Scouts go on to bigger and better things, to the point where they usually make something really good of themselves. So I thank them for that. I have one quick question for the city manager. Over the last couple weeks, I've gotten some concerns from some residents. Do we have a plan in case something happens to the railroad like it happened east of us? Since we have a much denser population in the area, if something should happen with the rails, I have actually observed rail cars coming through Bedford that have totaled more than 130 cars on a train. And one of the main concerns, of course, is I know that's a railroad and federal problem, the braking system, which the previous administration actually dumped the requirement for them to change it. So we're still running on Civil War brakes on most of these trains. But do we actually have an action plan set up with us or the surrounding communities together in case something of this nature does happen, so that we don't end up with, well, I hate to say it, the fiasco that happened out east?
So we do have a plan between safety forces, between our fire chief, our police chief. We discuss various situations, hopefully that never happen, with our neighboring communities as well. I'm not gonna speculate on, comparing that situation to here. The obviously item would be, it would be a much different impact because of how dense we are, and how rural the outlying areas is in that community. But one of the other things is we would also rely highly on the Cuyahoga County Office of Emergency Management in regards of that. We have scenarios in place for many incidents, as far as securing the site, as far as rerouting traffic, as far as notifying the public. All of that we do have in place.
Okay, I'm glad to hear there's something there, because when you look at this train that derailed, it actually went through our west side suburbs, went through the city of Cleveland, went through most of the east side suburbs to the north, and thank God it went off the tracks in a more rural area. That's not saying it didn't create massive havoc where it did, but it could have been a heck of a lot worse. And like I said, we do have a main route of Norfolk Southern through town, and their trains are getting longer and longer. And if what they're saying is true, that the longer they get, the worse they are, I'm glad we do have that somewhat in place here. Which brings you to the north, or the Wheeling line. I don't know if you've seen the pictures on some of the ones that we're taking on the Wheeling tracks, that some of them are deteriorating to the point where the wheels can bounce on them because the steel has disappeared on some of the sections so that they can wobble. I think Wheeling needs to go out and do a walk inspection on some of their rails. They are starting to come apart. Granted, they're not as bad as they were a number of years ago, but when they upgraded it, but I don't know if the new steel isn't as strong as the old steel, but they still need maintenance too now. They don't move through town very fast, and they primarily carry scrap metal, so they're not a real hazard. But any train derailment can become a hazard no matter what it is. So if we could get a hold of Wheeling and tell them that some of their rails are starting to show deterioration, it would be good. Thank you.
Thank you. This birthday girl. Excuse me, Mrs. Spinks.
I'd also like to congratulate Sergeant Kimsky. I sound like broken record, everybody's congratulating him, but it's really important for us too. And Eagle Scout Joshua Armstrong. Also, the first ward meetings is going to be Ward 1 and 3. That will be April the 24th. We didn't set a time on that, but no, we usually have that at 7.
Usually 7 to 9.
7 to 9, yeah, we did discuss that. So that will be the first one, and the other ones will follow, so we'll be giving those dates out. Also, the Bedford Historical Society, the reverse raffle dinner is going to be March 18th. The tickets are on sale right now. You can get them at the Historical Society at the gift shop. It's going to be at Ellenwood Rec Center. The doors open at 5, dinner's at 6. The grand prize will be $1,000 this year. So if you haven't got your tickets, you can get them. We're also selling tables. Mike, I know that I've sent this to you a couple times this week and over the past week. the big car haulers have been coming down, they're coming down Nally, they're coming down Willard, they're coming down side streets and stuff. Again, it's really getting out of control. I've been getting quite a few residents calling, and then they're parking again. I've sent you a couple of pictures and stuff at the end of Grand on both sides, which blocks people being able to come in. That's not good. And, I turned you the stuff about people parking on lawns again. That's getting, out of hand. It looks really bad. I've tried to have blue cards that I keep in my car and put on doors asking them please not, park in their lawn. One car got stuck in their lawn, tried to get it out and ended up hitting a neighbor's tree because the car was stuck. So it not only tore their yard up, it tore their neighbor's yard up. So it just doesn't look good. I'm hoping we can get more stuff maybe in the water bill saying please, you know, if you need our city, please don't park on your lawn. It just looks horrible. The gas line replacement on Crestwell been going on for about 6 months now. The residents are real happy. Mike, they are starting to go door to door and starting to put the new meters on and stuff. I was glad to see that at least some of those really bad sidewalks that were over there are going to be replaced because of that. So that was real good. Are we going to be having, I had a couple of residents already asked me, are we going to be doing a sidewalk program this year?
It's yet to be determined. We want to see where we end up with the Broadway project first.
Okay.
So,
Okay. 'Cause there's-
if so, we'll announce where that may be. We may actually, if there is some funds, we may look at replacing certain blocks along Broadway. But it's, we're not sure yet.
Okay, because that's one of the, when I get out and walk and stuff, that's one of the things that a lot of my older seniors and there's, you know, this is a walkable city, and there's some of the trees have pushed the sidewalks up, and I worry about, you know, the residents that are in, you know, wheelchairs or on walkers that get out and walk, and they've got a big, huge hump there, and I'm just hoping that we may be able to do something about that later on. Let's see, what else did I have? Oh, happy Fat Tuesday. Not too many people here celebrate that. Tomorrow's Ash Wednesday. And just like a big shout out to all of the residents and family and friends that helped me to celebrate my birthday, this big birthday. And it was real nice today. I've got tons and tons of calls and texts and emails from residents. That was really heartfelt that they remembered my wonderful husband that makes every day special. It's like every day's a birthday, but he really outdid himself on this big one for me. It was a little tough to swallow, thinking, gosh, dog, you know, 60 years, that's a long, I'm glad to still be here. But thank you, dear, and to all my friends and family that helped me celebrate. And happy Tuesday, happy Fat Tuesday. In the report.
Thank you. Mr. Janutus.
Thank you. Today I'd like to respond to the outpouring of support at our last meeting for backyard chickens, the popularity of which has been sweeping the nation, and as we see in so many of our neighboring communities. And with all that's going on in the world today, it should not be very surprising. Generally speaking, from what I've seen, those who want to raise chickens for eggs here are self-reliant people who want to eat the very best quality food for themselves and for their children. People who want to get back to nature, get back to the garden, get back to the land. I think those are lofty ideals. More and more of us are realizing our health is determined by our food. Sadly, our society, and particularly the lower classes, can never advance given the diets their circumstances cause them to eat. It's not about the price of eggs, but the quality of our food. Any of us know the goodness of a sun-ripened, homegrown tomato. And eggs are no different. In either case, the value should really be measured by the cost of health care instead. Before COVID, the cost of health care was approximately $9,600 per year for every man, woman, and child in this country. That's more than food, rent, and clothing. In the 1960s, only 4% of the entire population experienced chronic disease. Today, half of all children 18 and under are suffering from chronic disease or some other condition, allergic to the food or the environment. We are in a grave health crisis that is currently bankrupting society. It has been said that we will not even have a physically able workforce in the foreseeable future. A large body of published, peer-reviewed scientific research shows that pesticide exposure in unborn and growing children is linked to numerous health concerns we are seeing in our children today. That's just the pesticides. The second manner is a diminished nutritional value of the food itself due to the depleted soils from conventional farming methods. Our genetic code calls for some 60 to 90 minerals and nutrients necessary for our bodies to perform properly. Kids today, due to our modern food system, simply don't have the minerals in their bodies to perform properly. They are having trouble learning and paying attention and comprehending great thoughts and holding them. And this is across the entire population. You may ask, what can I do about it? Well, in the first place, we as legislators should work to repeal any restrictions against people growing their own food. We should work to remove any obstacles on the basis of morality. Please don't be advocates for restrictions against the well-being of those children under the guise of caring for the well-being of Bedford. I can only hope that, despite any perceptions of potential inconveniences having to do with backyard chickens, we should all be able to place our decision-making into the context of the bigger picture, the ultimate good for society. Which is more important? We are responsible for our future. We as elected and appointed officials are caused to be responsible for society and its well-being. As we witness empty store shelves and supply line disruptions, local food sources are an imperative going forward, which require that our children also learn the means to grow and produce their own food and procure their sustenance from the land. The American economy can only be restored from the grassroots. The land is our providence. The use of the land is now coming into question. We have some of the most fertile land in the whole world. But here in Bedford, with 3,500 acres, not a single acre is dedicated to agriculture. We are living in a food desert. Our five-city school district, which comprises some 20 square miles, has but one single grocery store. Countless studies attest to the mental, physical, and spiritual benefits from immersion in nature. Nature equals health. This is a simple and demonstrable approach to the world's most pressing problems, employing age-old organic gardening methods toward a truly sustainable and healthful future. Pure, unadulterated, nutrient-dense food is the most precious commodity on earth. We as officials have the responsibility to assure something like this can happen. A simple return of people to health and wholesome lifestyles. Thank you. End of report.
Thank you. We can move on to new business.
Yes, sir. Can we get a motion to approve the planning commission's recommendation to approve Liberty Development, Inc.'s request to subdivide permanent parcel 81407-001 from one lot totaling 27 acres into 6 industrial development lots in Tinkers Creek Commerce Park? Need a motion to that effect?
Motion by Smith, second by Saunders. And again, the planning commission's approval. If you agree with it, it's a yes vote. If you disagree, it's a no vote. Call the roll, please.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Saunders?
Yes.
Spinks?
Yes.
Janutus?
Yes.
Cochee?
Yes.
Passes 6-0. Motion to approve the planning commission's can I get a motion to approve the planning commission's recommendation to approve LDC Construction LLC's request to construct a 108,000 square foot industrial manufacturing facility in Tinkers Creek Commerce Park?
We have a motion for such by Janutus, second by Spinks. Call the roll.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Saunders?
Yes.
Spinks?
Yes.
Janutus?
Yes.
Cochee?
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0. Can I get a motion to approve the planning commission's recommendation to approve LDC Constructions LLC's request to construct a 110,000 square foot industrial manufacturing facility in Tinkers Creek Commerce Park?
Again, can I have a motion for such by Saunders, second by Smith. Call the roll, please.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Saunders?
Yes.
Spinks?
Yes.
Janutus?
Yes.
Cochee?
Yes. Before you move on, one of those companies we just followed is Cleveland Tank and Supply that will be moving up to the Tinkers Creek Industrial Park. Cleveland Tank, no, it's not Army tanks. It's diesel, fuel, and hydraulic tanks. Very good family-owned business, going to bring a bunch of jobs to the city. We're excited to have them come in, and this is the first step of the process to get them to build the property, so it's a good thing. And the other company, we can mention those, that's, we're gonna retain a company, Lakeshore Electric, who's over on Willis Street. They will be building a new facility adjacent to these, to the Cleveland Tank for their place, because they're just outgrowing where they're at, and they need a new place, and two new family-run businesses that just, kind of the backbone of the country. These are solid industry we can get behind, and they're, clean, it's not gonna be smoking and in the air, and just good businesses, so we're proud to welcome them and get this rolling so we can get them built.
All right, good luck, guys, congratulations.
Oh, thank you. Oh, we didn't have a motion? I thought we did. Everybody voted on a motion. We voted it. I
Oh,
believe so.
yeah, we did, sorry.
But we have the
And then we got
last applicant here, Ms. Huey's. A motion to approve the planning commission's recommendation to approve Belinda Huey's request to modify her type B child care license to a type A license.
I have a motion for such. Smith, second by Saunders. And I'm saying you have a good business there and you come highly recommended and had some good things to say about your operation. So thank you for running a good business. Of course, you know we got to comply with all the other stuff that goes along with it. I don't have to tell you, but this is, again, another step in that process, and we're happy to have you grow your business. Whether it's one of these big businesses or the home business, they all mean something to our city. Call the roll, please.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Saunders?
Yes.
Spinks?
Yes.
Janutus?
Yes.
Cochee?
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0. Good luck, Ms. Huey.
Ordinance number 14-23.
An ordinance accepting the authorizing the city manager, my eyes are going, to enter into a contract to accept the Northeast Ohio Public Energy Council, otherwise known as NOPEX, 2023 Energized Community Grant and declaring an emergency.
And motion for suspension by Spinks, second by Fluharty. Call the roll, please.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Saunders?
Yes.
Spink?
Yes.
Janutus?
Yes.
Cochee?
Yes. Motion for third and final by Saunders, second by Smith. Mike?
Thank you, Mayor. This is a grant that we received, as it states, this year, roughly $36,000. We received a similar grant in 2022. NOPEC allows you to escrow the funds for 1 year. Last year, we were still trying to determine a project for this, so we escrowed last year's funds. And it proved to be a very smart move. Throughout, starting in October, we have 2 boilers that operate this entire facility, as well as the municipal court. We have 1 boiler that has failed. The second boiler is operating, but they're both in need of replacement. The high efficiency boilers have a 20 to 25 year life expectancy. We are approaching 20 years in May. So what we are looking to do is we will be combining these 2 grants and going out. We're now working with our engineer to put together specs, and ultimately we're going to have to bid this project. But these 2 grants combined will help cover the cost of replacing both of the boilers for this facility.
Good. Call the roll, please.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Saunders?
Yes.
Spinks?
Yes.
Janutus?
Yes.
Cochee?
Yes. Ordinance number 15-23.
Authorizing the approval of engineering fees to GDP Group for its services regarding design costs and construction administration associated with the repair to the Lincoln Waterline Improvement Project in the city of Bedford and declaring an emergency.
I have a motion for suspension by Spinks, second by Janutus. Call the roll, please.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Saunders?
Yes.
Spinks?
Yes.
Janutus?
Yes.
Cochee?
Yes. Motion for third and final by Smith, second by Saunders. Mike?
Thank you, Mayor. As stated, this is for water line replacement, the design for water line replacement on Lincoln. We do have 2 water lines already scheduled to take place this year. That is on Ennis as well as Harriman. In working with our Public Works Department, Water Department, and engineer, it's determined that Lincoln is the next water line that is in need of replacement. So we've authorized the engineer to start designing these plans, and we anticipate to go out to bid this spring for that line replacement as well. And this ordinance will cover the cost of that design work.
Thank you. Questions? Call the roll, please.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Saunders?
Abstain.
Spinks?
Yes.
Janutus?
Yes.
Cochee?
Yes. Ordinance number 16-23.
An ordinance authorizing the approval of engineering fees GPD Group for its services regarding design, cost, and construction administration associated with the repair and resurfacing of Broadway State Route 14 in the city of Bedford throughout the entire city and declaring an emergency.
I have a motion for suspension. Fluharty, second by Janutus. Call the roll, please.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Saunders?
Yes.
Spinks?
Yes.
Janutus?
Yes.
Cochee?
Yes. A motion for third and final. Saunders, second by Smith. Mike?
Thank you, Mayor. This ordinance reflects the cost increase from the initial design of the Broadway resurfacing project. GPD provided the initial design. If you recall, we had gone back to ODOT multiple times and had to modify these designs multiple times to get us in a cost range that we were comfortable with. This ordinance here is the additional design fees with the redesign of the Broadway project.
Thank you. Call the roll, please.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Saunders?
Abstain.
Spinks?
Yes.
Janutus?
Yes.
Cochee?
Yes. Ordinance number 17-23.
Authorizing the city manager to enter into a contract with the Ohio Department of Transportation for the improvement of State Route 14 from the Western Corporation Limit to the Eastern Corporation Limit lying within the city of Bedford and declaring an emergency.
Motion for suspension. Smith, second by Saunders. Call the roll, please.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Saunders?
Yes.
Spinks?
Yes.
Janutus?
Yes.
Cochee?
Yes. Motion for third and final. Fluharty, second by Spinks. Mike?
Thank you, Mayor. This is an ordinance authorizing us to make payment to ODOT for the Broadway resurfacing project. This project is roughly $3.9 million, actually closer to $4 million. We did previously negotiate our percentage to 15%. Ultimately, after the redesigns, our total cost that we're looking at is $1.296 million, which is what this authorization is for. We are covering this through a couple different areas. One, we're utilizing our second allocation, we only get two, our second allocation of ARPA dollars, which is roughly $650,000. We also have our $400,000 of our annual road program for this year that will get allocated. And then we've also encumbered some funds from last year, cost savings from last year's road program that will go towards this as well. In total, we'll be able to fund our percentage of this, and ODOT can then make final plans to move forward with this project. Just actually, real quick, I'm sorry, Mayor. I do want to add, we have not had a pre-construction meeting. None of that has taken place yet. We don't have timelines or anything. Once that is done, we will provide notice as soon as possible to the public for, is it going to start on the Maple Heights side? Are we starting at Broadway Forbes? Any detours, anything like that, we will share that information when it becomes available.
Thank you. Call the roll, please.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Saunders?
Yes.
Spinks?
Yes.
Janutus?
Yes.
Cochee?
Yes. And we have a motion.
Yes, we're amending the agenda to make a motion to approve emergency funding for unforeseen circumstances or repairs and replacement of items at the pool house to avoid any delays in the contract completion pursuant to section 10401 of the Administrative Code. And can we get a motion to that effect?
I have a motion to that effect by Spinks, second by Janutus.
As we're working through the pool house project, all the interior walls have been demolished. We've televised the main sewer that goes to the facility. It actually runs underneath the building over to the pump station. There's multiple areas of that line that have failed. it needs to get addressed. It makes sense to replace that line. It runs under the building. We can make some repairs at 3 locations. Our recommendation is to replace the entire line now, while all of that is opened up, because they do need to cut the floor within the interior of the building. Instead of something happening 10, 15 years down the road, where another area fails, and we're now tearing a building up that has already been finished. So it's our recommendation that we make these repairs. The contractor is on site, and the reason we're looking to do an emergency repair is we still want to stay on schedule so we can have that facility opened up for the summer pool. If we wait, we're now delaying multiple weeks until we get that back to City Council.
Thank you. Call the roll, please.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Saunders?
Yes.
Spinks?
Yes.
Janutus?
Yes.
Cochee?
Yes. Now we come to that portion of the meeting, a hearing of citizens who wish to speak. Please come forward, state your name and your address and your comment. Start here.
Hi, my name is Nick Papa. Address is right here at the court because I'm an acting judge and magistrate here in Bedford Court, and I just want to say thank you all for your service. Sometimes I think we forget in life to say thank you. And I remember just this past summer, a young man came up to me and asked me if I was a judge in Bedford, and I said yes. And he says, I just want to thank you because you helped me change my life. And I know that feeling when someone say thank you, so I just want to pass that feeling on to council, say thank you all for your service.
Thank you, sir. Good luck. What else? Hearing none, can I have a motion for adjournment by Spinks, second by Fluharty? Call the roll, please.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Saunders?
Yes.
Spinks?
Yes.
Janutus?
Yes.
Cochee?
Yes. Thank you all for coming.